The Wildcat Sports Club CNY Brewfest is coming up January 31st and February 1st at the New York State Fairgrounds. Taste your way through unlimited samples from more than 100 breweries. Now featuring hard ciders, seltzers, craft cocktails, and mocktails too. Grab your tickets now at cnybrewfest.com.
You know what I love, Steve? Being a jerk.
Listen, dude, we've been doing a show for 90 minutes.
I had a chance to listen to the last call. We game plan for PJ Hall.
Uncle.
I have a list of guys I would never hang out with. Your name is right on the top.
Do you like the worst song bracket we're doing?
It's considerably better than the supplement bracket. Let's start with that.
I won a limbo contest.
Oh, my God.
Fran Brown joining us.
These guys are working their butts off. They expect to see their fans.
You want extra money just because you're North Carolina? I'm in all right
What
now.
an honor for you and Jordan to be next to me.
every day.
This is Orange Nation.
There's music, there's fun, there's us. It's everything you could want all in one place.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Stephen Fonte as we welcome you into a Friday edition of Orange Nation. Leading into the weekend, we've got Michael Carter-Williams on the show today, coming up at 12:30. Studio and game analyst now for the ACC Network. We'll talk with MCW about what he's seeing with this team and around the ACC for that matter.
They could use him.
Yeah, they could. Tom Walters, communications director for the Onondaga County Public Libraries. He'll be on with us at 1:15 to tell us about the partnership they've got with the Crunch heading into the MLK Day game on Monday, which is the reason we don't have a show on Monday. There'll be Crunch hockey on. And then our good friend Thad Brown, sports director WROC in Rochester, 1:30 to talk Bills-Ravens. We'll mix in your phone calls throughout at 315-437-7644. We're back at it again, Paulie.
Yeah. Michael Carter-Williams is another ideal guy to ask of what he would have done in the NIL world.
Good point.
He was not happy at Syracuse after year one. Michael Carter-Williams also has probably one of my top five. I'll go top five. Top five greatest dunks by a Syracuse player.
Is that right?
It was the most inconsequential, non-factor dunk his freshman year. They just had him in for slop time at Madison Square Garden against St. John's. Just blew it up.
On a scale of like 1 to Johnny Flynn against Rutgers.
Johnny Flynn against Rutgers is probably 2 on my list. Hakeem at Notre Dame is number 1.
Yeah.
But it's probably 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
CJ Fair when it was a Hawaii when he ripped his. Nobody dunks at Syracuse anymore. That's a problem.
Conrad McRae had a few good ones.
Yeah.
Hakeem might be 1-2 on the list, potentially.
Yeah, that one doesn't count, though.
That's true.
Because that would be number 1 overall.
It's on a poster somewhere, though.
I can't get away from it, Steve, and I hate it. But I just can't get away from what is going on at Syracuse this year in basketball and how wrong everybody is. But me. I can't. Like, all right, I'm looking at the ACC right now. Why do you think Tony Bennett quit?
Yeah, I think it.
Do you think you realize?
I think it had something to do with the changing landscape.
My payroll is going to probably cost me this year. And then
they're in rough shape.
They also have, like, I've been talking to people. Virginia and Syracuse also have academic standards that make it harder for people to transfer in. You either got to be a fifth year or a freshman because you got to have a set amount of credits to get in. I think Bennett will be back once they figure everything out.
Back in Virginia or just back in the coaching game?
Back in the coaching game when they figure it out. But
yeah, I mean,
CBW says does Notre Dame have standards too? Yeah, they stink. Thank you for proving my point.
I mean, they have an identical record with Syracuse right now. Both 2-4 in conference, both 8-9 overall. Virginia 8-9 overall, 1-5 in conference.
Yeah, they stink.
Miami, who has a big NIL pool, 0-6, 4-13, and Jim Larinaga said enough is enough.
Football is doing okay at Notre Dame. Yeah, they prioritize football.
Right.
This is where it's getting me going. Like, are people dumb? Nobody thinks of Notre Dame basketball ever. That's why all their money goes to football.
I don't think people are dumb. I think people are angry, and they want to blame something and someone.
Well, I'm blaming NIL this year.
And I think they don't want to look at it and say, maybe this is, again, there are reasons. We joke about reasons/excuses, but again, the NIL is certainly a factor. We had Mike Waters on the Orange Nation TV show last night. He comes on every week, and we were. Well, go ahead, Paul.
I just got to hit this. LA Orange says Shrewsbury's winning at Notre Dame. No, he's not. Are you guys? Can you read standings? Like, that's so easy to look up.
You're very frustrated, Paulie.
I am, Steve. And next year's going to be different. You know what? Okay, so this is what got me back into this world. I saw somebody on Twitter put Syracuse is the laughing stock and Adrian Autry is the laughing stock of college basketball. That's like rock bottom, right?
Right.
Do you know that there's a new tournament happening in Las Vegas every year?
Yes.
That invites the premier programs.
Right. They pay the players.
And pay the players. You know who got invited to that next year?
Yes. Syracuse.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know who has a top 10 recruiting class?
Well, okay. So can I get to what I was going to say about Mike Waters?
Yeah.
So,
let me finish. Do you know who has a top 10?
Yes. Right. Yes.
Syracuse. Do you know what schools don't have top 10 recruiting classes? Laughing stocks.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So this is along those lines. So we had Mike Waters on the Orange Nation TV show last night. And him and I were chatting off camera, and I'm not saying anything out of school here because I asked him, I said, can I talk about this on the radio tomorrow? And he said, yeah. He's like, I stand by what I think. And listen, he's hearing it too. I mean, we're getting it directly asked to us during the radio show with callers and commenters in the chat. And he gets it through emails, and he does the Mike's mailbag every week. And, he's been getting questions about Autry. And so yesterday he finally addressed it. He finally said, you know what, I'm going to put something out there and we're going to talk about it. And I hope people have a chance to read it. Again, he posted it yesterday, and he goes through and he lays out thoughtful reasoning about whether or not Syracuse should look to move on from Adrian Autry after this year. And, we've had to do the same thing here. And people give us a lot of pushback, call us, homers, or we're giving excuses, whatever the case may be. Mike, his reputation speaks for itself. Hall of Fame writer. He's been doing this forever.
Well, according to Shelp in our chat, Mike Waters is always last on everything in Syracuse.
So Mike Waters addressed it. And, he says, listen, he's heard the chatter on social media. He says, this is a quote from his post. I think it would be very short-sighted for Syracuse officials to consider making a coaching change. And then he goes into all the reasons why. Can Adrian Autry coach? Last year, 20 wins, most in a regular season since 2014. Can he recruit? That speaks to what you just said. He's got Donnie Freeman here. He's got Kyan Anthony coming. He's got Sadiq White coming. We know he can recruit. What's the, if you look at this roster in particular, what's the thing that is most glaring is that they didn't do well in the transfer portal, right? Mm-hmm. And again, Mike addresses that, and he says, okay, they are aware of that. They went out, they addressed that. They got Alex Klein. They hired a GM. They maybe weren't, you can say, listen, Adrian Autry should have been prepared enough to do that going into last year. They didn't. It didn't work out.
Do you think he can make that decision, though?
Right, exactly. It's
not his. I'm sure he would have.
Powers that be, right, exactly. So they go out, they get a GM, Alex Klein, who starts over the summer. By then, it's too late going into this year. So, does he not deserve? And then you look at obviously the JJ injury, the Donnie injury. Those things have not helped. But does he not deserve at least a year with all of these things in place to see what can happen? So again, and I'm paraphrasing. I really encourage everybody to go to check out that post. It's thoughtful. It's logical. It makes a lot of sense. It's a lot of what we've been talking about, Paulie, and people just don't want to hear it. They're angry and they want somebody to blame.
Shelp says short-sighted for not making a coaching change. That's even more short-sighted to not have a national search and hire an assistant without head coaching experience. Man, where have I seen that work before? Can you tell me where I've seen that work before, Steve? What dope would hire an assistant coach with no head coaching experience? And John Wildhack do that? Didn't he do that with the football coach?
Yeah, Fran Brown just got a couple of first-year National Coach of the Year awards a couple days ago.
What a dope for hiring a guy with no head coaching experience.
And oh, by the way, this program was built on an assistant coach that was hired with no head coaching experience, right?
I'm going to give credit to, I won't say names, but it's kind of amazing. They said, you know what's amazing is Syracuse has hired the 2 worst coaches in basketball history back to back.
Oh, man.
Let me just I don't know how much more we can go with this. It's like, guys, they're not the laughing stock. It's not rock bottom. Miami's at rock bottom. Virginia was in the won a national title in the past 10 years, and now they're.
I would say Louisville was at rock bottom.
Yeah,
and now they're back.
Yeah, I don't even know if they're back. Right. If you bring 3 guys with you that have played in your system and know you, and you get the Defensive Player of the Year from the Big Ten, and it's got to be sustained.
It has to be sustained. But again, look at the NIL resources that they're working with. We talked about this the other day. Okay. Top 10 in the country for NIL resources when it comes to basketball.
And this is going to bring me to another point. Are Syracuse fans next year going to turn on Fran Brown if it doesn't go you want to talk about going Syracuse against NIL next year?
Yeah, half their schedule is NIL, right?
Yeah, like they're going against the big boys in NIL. Sure. Tennessee.
Right. SMU.
Notre Dame.
Right.
Clemson.
Right. Miami.
They beat Miami.
North Carolina. You got to add North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough. And they're not going to lose those games if they do because Fran Brown can't coach.
Right.
All of a sudden. It's probably going to be because he couldn't get the same amount of talent. Now, will there be different rules in effect at the beginning of the year? You know, I don't even know when that rule kicks in. Is it next season for football or this season? I don't know. They will say Fran only won because of McCord. Right. And they got McCord because they ponied up money. But they also got, like I said, I texted this to Steve and Jordan. They found Kyle McCord in the bargain bin because somebody accidentally put him in there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they accidentally put him in there, but yes, he was in the bargain bin.
Yeah. And they got him for cheap. Like, can Syracuse sustain a level of paying, like, say, McCord probably would have gotten more money this year in NIL if he was transferring
Carson
in.
Beck just got a $4 million deal, and I'm not saying McCord would have gotten that, but he could have gotten a lot
and
from
they
somebody.
Probably would have ponied up the money for him. $1 million. 1.5, whatever it is. Can Syracuse sustain that? We'll have to find out.
Right.
Can they get $1 million quarterback every year?
Right. Yeah. Well, I can't imagine they have a $1 million quarterback right now. I mean, I don't know what they're giving Ricky Collins, but it's not that. So,
and we'll get into more about the NIL with basketball. Red explained it yesterday that Syracuse is going to have to bring in young kids. They're going to end up having to pay players, but they're going to have to keep them.
Sure. Right.
All
right, let's take a timeout. I see the phone lines are starting to ring, starting to light up. 315-437-7644. Give us a call if you'd like to check in. We'll step aside here. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
The Orange women are off to Chestnut Hill to face Boston College. Pre-game at 11:45.
Nobody was turning on Fran after the
home
after
of
the pick game.
Syracuse women's basketball. ESPN
People
Radio.
were telling
Syracuse.
us they should have hired the Indiana coach. Remember that Italian guy? I'm
Have
drunk.
you been thinking about a new ride? Need to rebuild or reestablish credit? Buying a car, truck, or SUV is one of the best ways to do that. Put your tax return to work for you. At Q's Cars, we specialize in getting you on the road. We understand life happens. So if you can hear the sound of my voice, get the process started at QsCars.com. Put your tax money to work for you. Q's Cars, on the corner of First North and Highway in Syracuse.
It does help with the sales pitch.
Are you saying that Red's not a good recruiter? That's Red's strongest point, I would think.
We all want to protect our families, our homes, our businesses, and our health. CH Insurance provides...
Oh, for God's sake. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I wish you would fire me because I can't take you, Dubs. No, you know what? Like, these are good kids, and they're very coachable. Like, Red has not lost this locker room, guys. I hate to tell you that, too. People want to compare it to Kenny Payne. Kenny Payne had players sit out because someone forgot to pack his compression shorts last year. Kenny Payne was incompetent. Like, did you guys not hear? I think I'm having a stroke. Kyle Cuff say how great it is to play for Coach Autry. And it's all the same reasons people say they like playing for Fran Brown. He's making us into a better person off the court and blah, blah, blah. Well, according to Red, they have next basketball season, at least, they will have the ability to use the money from the whatever the law that passed there. All right, which one of those players are you upset that left the most? The one that went pro, I would hope. Are you mad that JT left or Quadier or? You think this team has the talent? The two McDonald's All-Americans, one's in a boot and one broke his hand. Quadier didn't, like, he wasn't a student athlete. Like, I don't get why that's hard to figure out either. Malik would have been great. I'm sure Malik probably regrets his decision now. But money talks now because Malik's not going to be an NBA player, so he's going to go get his money. I'm looking at Steve because he ignores me.
I thought you were talking to them.
No, I wish you would engage.
We have plenty of time to engage. I don't need to do it during the commercial. It's maddening, Paulie. It's maddening.
Lampkin had a hurt back for the, like, I don't know that he was in shape or not, but I know he was hurt early on. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't know when he hurt himself, but he clearly had back issues. I gotta open YouTube. Sorry, hold please. Hopefully the YouTube chat's, is it like the YouTube chat smarter? Because I'll hang out with them if they're smarter. Freeman and Moore are Freeman. Syracuse better get Freeman back. If you think Freeman's a bust, you have no idea, Jake. I guess they're not smarter. Freeman's probably one of the best rebounders Syracuse has gotten in ages. Freeman's gone, dude. Okay, thanks. You know. YouTube chat isn't smarter. Mike McKelly. I don't know, because Red last night said, well, I'll play the cut. There's some bangers on the Juice soundtrack, Steve.
It was a good choice.
EPMD. Eric Sermon and Parrish. You know, Parrish Smith follows me on Twitter.
Does he?
Yeah. I'm big with the 80s hip-hop stars. They love me.
Is he like right behind LL in terms of the...
Unlike Syracuse... basketball fans, old school hip hop artists love me.
In terms of the most famous people who follow you, is he second?
Third.
Who's second?
LL.
Oh, who's first?
Alec Baldwin.
Oh, okay. All right.
I had a love affair. Alec Baldwin and I had a love affair for a little while.
Bromance?
Yeah, bromance. Yeah. I'll tell a funny story off air about that.
Let's go to the phone lines. Dave in Syracuse kicking us off. Hey, Dave, how are you? Dave, are you with us?
Dave's not here. I'll put him on hold, see if you guys can find him. Let's go to Scooter.
Scooter, what's up?
Paulie, I got great news for you, man. Great news. The Groundhog's shadow, there's only 7 more weeks of SU basketball you have to worry about.
What if they go on a run and make the tournament?
Well, then you may have them 8 weeks then. But, pack for Dayton, though, if that is the case. Or you can start a new segment out, Total Eclipse of the Tambourine. That might get you excited.
Yeah, nothing gets me excited.
Listen, like I said before, guys, my concern is, and you guys have talked about it, and Paul, you and I agree to disagree on this, developing a program where every year seems to be starting out like a new season, and it's not going to change until whatever the rules are changed, and you can sign players for 2 or 3 years and keep them. Because we're going to go through this next year with 8 new players, and we're going to have the same comments about give them half the season to gel. It might be better to start the conference, and they did it one year, start the conference early, play the non-conference in the middle, because that seems to be a pretty important part of the season. Therefore, when we play in the ACC, we don't play teams already in quad 3s, quad 4s, because they haven't played yet. So maybe move the season up and play the non-conference in the middle of the season, but that seems those games actually count more.
That's an interesting point. And maybe you can't do all of your non-conference, obviously, at that point, Paulie. But if you built in a big non-conference matchup or two,
they used to do that.
Yeah.
Like I remember Syracuse randomly played Michigan in the middle of the season and Kentucky in the middle of the season.
Michigan State the year they won the title.
Yeah, it used to happen.
And I wonder if part of the reason they went against that or stopped doing it is because the conference schedule is so daunting that you didn't need
you
it.
have less openings.
Well, right, yeah. You didn't need it, number one, because
there's 50 teams in your conference.
You had plenty of opportunities in conference, and it was a gauntlet, and you didn't. Why would you add another game to the gauntlet? So that's an interesting point from Scooter.
Here's Coach Autry on building a roster every year.
It's a lot of building teams and obviously dealing with the finances and things like that. And I think everybody, Alex Hahn is our general manager. That's why I brought him in to kind of be able to kind of figure those things out. And kind of build, and it's going to be like that every year. Be like that every year. The retention piece of it, and then trying to build around what you can retain. And sometimes you might not be able to retain the players that you want to retain.
Yeah, like that. Syracuse is going to be in a position they're probably going to have to go young, and then they're going to have to retain,
and they're going to have to hit in the portal, right? Like whatever you do in the portal,
you're going to need that 5th-year senior.
But he's got to be the right fit, and he's got to play well, And I think this year, again, nothing against the guys who came in, but it hasn't been, I think, what they were hoping for with some of these guys. And there's still time left in the season, and maybe they develop and grow into that. But you've gotten to the point now where it almost doesn't matter.
I tend to think this season's going to be an outlier for a lot of schools with NIL. Like I think they're going to figure it out. Like Syracuse will, the NCAA hopefully will, and. I think here's Coach Autry on how he thinks it will improve moving forward.
As we get more information about it and more, transparency and more out there, I think people will really start to understand like how you're still going to need community help and community funding and the collectors funding to be competitive. And again, I don't see why, I don't think it's going to be an issue as we move forward as once this settlement thing happens, that you can start to kind of, get the program on great footing and being able to have the resources and being able to go out and then compete and get the best players.
Everybody's trying to figure it out, right? And go ahead.
Do you agree with me that this year's the Wild Wild West?
It definitely is.
It's so different.
Yeah. And you hope that there's some regulations, and I do think that when schools can start paying the players directly, I think that's that's going to help everybody involved. There's still going to be some schools that pay more than others, obviously, but they need some semblance of regulation, and I think everybody's collectively trying to figure it out. You brought up Tony Bennett before. Listen, I don't know his list of reasons why he stepped down. I think it's got to be on the list, and maybe it's high on the list.
Yeah, and I also don't like there's a kid on Twitter that said Louisville fired Kenny Payne after 2 years. Yeah, because they lost with a high payroll, right, and they have donors that'll pay for 3 basketball coaches at the same time.
Right.
And Syracuse just can't do that.
That's not going on here.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's a reality you just got to, I'm not claiming that Syracuse is the Miami Marlins or the Pittsburgh Pirates, but they're probably the St. Louis Cardinals right now.
Yeah. Right. Right. And I think that, people have these aspirations, and I understand why. I mean, it was 40 years of a lot of Sweet 16s. People think that Syracuse is still a top 20 program, but again, payroll-wise, as we pointed out a couple days ago when we looked at that rankings, they're in the 60s, in terms of a payroll. So it's, they're going to have to outperform their payroll year in and year out, or get more money in the coffers and, more money in the NIL resources. So, we'll have to see how this whole thing plays out, but I don't think there's any question that, everybody's kind of learning on the fly here, and the transfer portal did not go well this go around. They've got a GM in place now. That is his job. Alex Klein's job is just that.
Philly is most wanted. The new GM contribution to the new recruiting class is the lowest ranked player without a high major offer. They got the players they wanted before.
Alex Klein started in the summer.
Yeah, before they came in, they probably snagged one more player and. Right?
I think he started. Didn't he start at the end of June?
They're just, people are so insanely dumb. I'm sorry to say that, Steve. Like, someone Googled, they couldn't Google that Shrewsbury was like winning. Like, what? If next year goes bad, there'll be discussions.
He started in July. I just looked it up.
One more. And I don't know if he's speaking about anybody in particular on this one, Steve. I'll just let you hear it, and you can judge.
I hope that you can afford the guys that you're returning back, because it's just a market out there. It's just what it is. End of the season, your leading scorer, and he has 2 years left. You got to be able to retain him. You got to be able to retain them. Your best players, your best freshman, that's, a double-double guy. You got to be able to say, if he doesn't go, be able to bring him back. Can you get him? Can you afford to keep him back? Because the calls are coming. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I think we all know who he's talking about.
I think there's two players we might know who he's talking about right there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what JJ and Donnie decide to do, and
I think that's what they're working on. Like, anybody wants to talk about what the GM's doing, that's probably priority one, is getting those two back.
Right. And then you pair them with what is coming, and then hitting the portal, a couple of guys in the portal.
I'd like Chris Bell back. Now, I've been pondering it. I would like him back. Stability. You just, like, you can shrug your shoulders all you want. You're not going to find a better shooter. You're not. Dude, he's... Do you think, like, you're doing what Syracuse fans are?
No,
do you think he just forgot how to shoot?
No, I don't. But, sometimes I think guys get to a point where, I don't want to say he's broken.
No,
but
he dropped 18 last game.
Yeah, a lot of it was in garbage time. I mean, listen.
Is the basket different in garbage time? Is it? You're the one that said.
Well, it is in that. What's his biggest issue right now? It's playing under pressure. It's worried that he's going to come out of the game. In garbage time, you're playing loose. That's his biggest thing. He's got to learn to play loose, right? And I think coming off the bench has helped him do that. I'm not saying, I don't want him to come back. I don't think he is top priority, and I don't think
I would make every player that is in your system that you can bring back a top priority.
Well, I think you only have so many resources, though, and you have to allocate those resources. And
you're not going to lose a lot of resources for Chris Paul.
I wouldn't think so. You just said you're not going to find that's the part that shrugged my shoulders. You said you're not going to find a better shooter than Chris Bell. Come on.
Are you, though? Like,
I mean, he went a month without a made three.
You're going to have to pony up a lot of money.
No, I know, but you can find better shooters than Chris Bell.
Not at Chris Bell prices.
Well, that's not what you said. You said you're not going to find a better shooter.
Stop. Like, let's see how he ends the season. Why are you guys? You're doing the Chris Bell.
No,
with
I'm not.
Season's over. Chris Bell sucks.
I didn't say that. I feel for what he's going through. I do. I feel for what he's going through. But I don't think you could say you can't find a better shooter than him. That's all I was saying. And I'm not trying to take a shot at it. We do have to go here because we got Michael Carter-Williams standing by. So we'll take a timeout. We'll bring on Michael Carter-Williams on the other side. We'll talk SU. We'll talk ACC.
You can find better rebounders, guys. That is correct.
That is true.
I won't argue with that.
Back after this on ESPN Radio.
Having a senior shooter would be a good thing for Syracuse basketball next year. That's been in the system. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I don't know. It might be time to.
Nope.
Because here's the thing, Paulie. It's not just that he's missing shots or that he didn't make a 3 in a month. It's the play at BC.
That's it. He's lost his starting job. Let's let him go. Let's see how he handles it.
It's the play at BC when he misses a shot and the ball bounces.
The rest of the season. I'm
but
not giving up
that
on
was
the kid.
after he lost.
I'm not giving up on the kid. Like
I'm not giving up on him either. I'm just saying I don't think he's necessary. Let's say.
Why are you such a bad person?
Okay.
Man, you would have benched Buddy. You're like Pat.
Sometimes
Chris Sale is trash.
Sometimes
you mean the guy who finished second in Cy Young Award?
Sometimes people benefit from a change of scenery.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
And this might be a case of that. I'm not saying
maybe he feels comfortable.
I feel bad for what he's going
all right,
through.
You've got the rest of the season. Let's see how he plays. All right. Don't be dumping kids now. Let the season play out.
Dumping him.
You've dumped
I said
him.
I don't think
You've
he's a
already
priority.
moved on to another girl already.
I said I don't think he's a priority.
This isn't the Apple Watch from the hotel, guys. I actually went out, but I'm so lazy. I left my Apple Watch in a hotel room and didn't want to deal with having it get sent back to me that I went out and bought another one. Bell scores when there's no pressure. So last year was a fluke. Okay, I get it. People go through slumps.
But I mean, again, as I will remind you, this isn't just about missing shots.
Well, no, I know.
He hasn't rebounded in 3 years.
I called him out for that.
No, I know, but this isn't just a slump, right?
It's not a rebounding slump; it's a shooting slump.
Well, yeah, but it's not like everything else is great and he's just not making shots.
Do you know what's going to happen, Steve? Right now, next year is going to happen, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh, should have kept Chris Bell." No. His rebounding slump's been his whole career. People go through slumps. Lucas Taylor didn't get that courtesy in the beginning of the year. Don't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Lucas Taylor didn't score any points ever until recently, and he's been playing great. And you know who gets to make the decision about his playing time? The coach. And the coach has almost doubled his playing time. You know who struggled? Carlos. And you know who's playing less? Carlos. You know who struggled? Bell. You know who's playing less? Bell.
I will say this. We got to stick together here, so we can't argue. You and I can't argue.
CBW says you never call out Bell's rebounding. Does he listen to the show?
I don't think he listens to the show, CBW. He does a lot.
I want him back. I'm sorry. You guys don't want to hear that. But I'm also not the GM, so.
I think it might be time to part ways.
It's January 17th.
No, not. You know what I mean.
No, I don't.
After the season.
What if he carries him the rest of it? What if they go on a heater? What if they do?
Because of him?
What if he does? Well, yeah, like what if he averages 18 for the rest of the year?
Okay. Yeah, then the conversation will be different.
Okay,
I don't think that's happening.
What do I always say, Steve? Am I being different with this argument than any other argument?
You can have an opinion. I can have a different opinion.
Your opinion sucks.
Okay.
Why are you like everybody on the?
I'm not like everybody else. I'm just being honest.
Welcome back to Orange Nation. The artist of the day, the soundtrack to Juice. Did you ever see that movie? I saw it in the theaters.
I did. I don't think I saw it in the theaters, but yes, I saw it.
Shoot 'em up. Is this one? We were just arguing about the status of Chris Bell.
Well, and we're waiting on Michael Carter Williams, so we have a few minutes here until he joins us. listen, it's nothing against him. Like, I feel bad for what he's going through, and I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm just saying I don't know that he's a priority. I think when you look at the roster, there are more players that need to be prioritized more than bringing Chris Bell back.
I think priority for Syracuse basketball from now until eternity is going to bring back as many guys that can help you as possible and that can learn the system.
And that's fine, and I understand it. The part that I took issue with is when you said you wanted him back for his shooting. He's shooting 29% right now, or that you can't find someone better in that role. And I think there are plenty of guys that are, certainly outperforming him right now.
How's Chris Bell shooting in the ACC?
And it's not
the ACC season?
It's not like everything else. All other parts of his game are great, and he's just not making shots. As we have pointed out, you in particular pointed out, he still doesn't rebound. He still has
he's lost
situations where he misses shots at one end, he pouts on the other end, and doesn't play defense.
Yanked.
And I know, right? So this isn't like everything else is going great with him, and then he's just not making shots.
Yeah, you just hope the guys get better.
I know it's year 3, Paulie. That's all I'm saying.
I know, but you say they get better every year.
They should.
Players get better every year, and it should happen next year.
Well, I don't know. I think we've seen some regression, and sometimes guys benefit from a fresh start.
57% against Louisville.
Well, yeah, yes.
0% against BC.
He's played well 3 of the 4 games since coming off the
100% against FSU. That's a pretty good shooting percentage.
All right. We do have Michael Carter-Williams now, so let's go to the phone lines. We'll table this discussion for this segment as we bring in former Cuse star and played a decade in the NBA, now serving as a studio analyst and a game analyst on the ACC network. Michael Carter-Williams, our guest on the show. Thanks so much for coming on. How you been?
Good. How are you?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Paul, you want to kick us off here?
Mike, how did you end up in this job? Because all of a sudden I'm sitting here one day and Michael Carter-Williams is hired by the ACC network. So what led you to this position, and how did it come about?
Well, to be honest, I was doing the Orlando Magic radio games, and I was doing a lot of it was just a lot of in-game stuff, and I was having fun. It's good. I still do it from time to time, but then I was like, I want to see what it's like in the studio. So I started doing some research on what gigs can I get in the studio. I did some NBA TV stuff, and then ESPN had reached out, and I was supposed to go in for an interview with ESPN, but then we had the bad storm in Florida, so I couldn't go. So I actually missed my interview, and then one day they called and they're like, "Listen, we don't even want to do the interview process. We've got some of your film. We'd love to, offer you to do some ACC network stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Now, Jim Boeheim, your former coach, is in a similar role. Have you chatted with him at all about either the job or all things basketball? You still keep in touch with Coach Boeheim?
Yeah, I actually talked to him the other day on air. It was good. He was doing I can't remember which game he was doing, but him and I we spoke. We caught up a little bit. So it's cool to see him on the other side of this world.
Yeah, right. He hated that side of the world for about 4 years.
Now I think he likes it now. It seems like he likes it. All right, so put your analyst hat on here, and maybe your stethoscope as well. Diagnose what's going on with SU basketball. What do you make of what you've seen of late from the Orange?
Obviously we've had some tough luck with some injuries. Freeman being out, JJ being out for a while, I think that really hurt us, and it was hard for us to catch a rhythm. So now you're kind of going through the same thing, right? Freeman being out, I'm looking forward to us full strength. I thought JJ coming back, I thought he gave, just an energy boost to the whole, program. It was looking real spoopy for us for a little while, and then, we ran off 2 in a row. So, we'll see. I don't have, major high hopes for Syracuse right now. But, you can see the bright spots.
With that being said, as you look at the future, with Adrian Autry as the coach, you look at the freshmen they've got coming in. Do you think brighter days are ahead? And I know you played when Red was here. I mean, do you look at him as being the guy? You know, he's come under fire here a little bit locally with some of the fans and some of our listeners. Do you think he's the right guy to lead this program forward?
Honestly, I do. I loved Coach Archer when I was there. I think he's a great coach. I think he coaches the right way. I saw him, kind of single-handedly develop Jeremy Grant from, a guy that was coming in who just had amazing athletic ability to, showing him what hard work is and, how to get to the next level. So I know the coaching is to me, the coaching isn't the problem. There's been some times where I'm like, well, maybe this guy could have played, maybe this guy could have played, but that happens to every coach, at some point in their career, right? And it's still early for him. I think we have guys coming in, right? We got Sadiq coming in, we got Kyan coming in, Luke Filano and Aaron, right? Those guys will come in and be, good pieces to our team, right? If I don't know what's, hopefully JJ comes back, hopefully Freeman comes back too, and I don't know if he will. He probably, he might leave, but if we get those guys back, the future is bright for Syracuse. I think it's only up from here, to be honest.
You talk about whether or not guys will come back, and that's the new day of college athletics, right? The NIL, and everybody's a free agent in the offseason, and you almost have to re-recruit the guys you already have in the program, different from when you were here. Paulie brought this up earlier in the show about, and we talked to Atan Thomas yesterday. We said, Atan, hypothetically speaking, like you didn't play a ton as a freshman, you're behind Otis Hill. Would you have come back as a sophomore? Paulie said, let's ask Michael Carter-Williams the same question. Can you put yourself in that situation after your freshman year? Like, if that was, if NIL and free agency was a thing back then, do you think you would have come back to SU, or do you think you would have gone elsewhere?
That's a good question. I at times and moments, I was definitely frustrated with not playing my freshman year. But at the end of the day, I was a young kid. We were 30, and we ended up 30-3. Like, I really didn't have room to be like, I should be playing when we were undefeated. It's just, as a kid, I was upset, obviously, because I wasn't playing. But the rhyme or reason was, we were really, really good. And, I threatened Boeheim a few times. I'm going to leave. I'm transferring. And obviously it's a different story then, but I had the keys to the car, coming into my sophomore year. So it would have been really hard for me to leave. I don't know. I guess the leverage play for guys now is, hit the transfer portal and or say you're going to hit the transfer portal to, get the most money out of your college and, come back. I don't know. But, I truly think I would have came back. I had, from my outside life off the court, I had a lot of great things going on with, friends, and then I was close to family. I think I would have came back.
Do you think that time, like going through that your freshman year, do you think that helped you in your NBA career to, just the way that you carved out a decade-long career in the NBA. Not too many guys could do that, and you worked hard, and sometimes it looked like maybe your career was over and you'd find a way to get back on a team and revitalize your career. Do you think that time helped you be able to do that at the next level?
Yeah, I've said this before, too. I think my freshman year was the most important year of basketball in my life. It taught me, adversity. It taught me that things aren't going to always go my way. It taught me how to work through some adversity, right? Like, I'm not playing. What is the alternative that I can keep bettering myself? And I think all the success from my sophomore year, it actually came from my freshman year, competing every day in practice against Neon, Scoop, and Brandon, and Chris Joe, and, all those guys. It prepared me for the next season and ultimately prepared me to get to the NBA.
All right, let's look around the ACC now. That is your job now, right? You got to analyze the conference as a whole. I guess let's start at the top with Duke. Everybody has a bad night, but I think it's getting to a point where you look at them and you say, man, they might not lose a conference game. I mean, how good is this team compared to other great teams you've seen in the past?
Yeah, I think they went out. To be honest, they have one tough game. It's a non-conference game, but I think they do. I think they went out in the ACC. They're really good, man. They've got all the pieces. They've got shooters. They got guys coming off the bench. The big guy down low is good. Obviously, they have Cooper, and they're all playing well. And defensively, they're so long. Like I they're definitely, to me, they're Final Four bound for sure. They're in there for me.
They've got Illinois, the non-conference game that you were talking about. They've got them coming up in about a month.
That's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one that I'll be interested to see. If they can win that game, I think they win out.
All right, how about that? Yeah, go ahead,
I wanted to stick on Duke. Cooper Flag. How does could you just describe that kid, and where does he compare to other freshmen you've seen play college basketball?
Yeah, I think the thing that sticks out to me, we've seen all this, we've seen a bunch of talent, come in as freshmen, and for me, the thing that separates him from the rest is just he does all the little things out there, right? Like he a guy that can create his own shot and score at any time, but he'll also hustle to get an offensive rebound and a putback, or he'll have a chase down block, or he'll get a steal here and there. Like, he does the gritty work, but he also is the star on the team, which you don't really see too often at his age. And it really seems like he's figured out the game at a young age, and which is the most impressive thing about him. Like, you see a lot of guys and you're like, man, once he figures it out, he's going to be unstoppable. But him, it's like he already has figured it out, and he's doing what he's doing, obviously, and he's unselfish. Like, he had 42 one night, then comes back the next night in a blowout win, and only has about I think he had 13 or 15, but he was getting guys involved. He had 5 assists right in the beginning of the game. Like, he's doing everything.
All right, I think we all agree Duke is head and shoulders the best team in this conference. You look at that next tier, Clemson, Louisville, Wake Forest, UNC, maybe throw SMU in there. Who's the next best team in this conference after Duke?
I think it's Louisville. They're on fire right now. Pat Kelsey's been doing a great job with them. They seem like they have a lot of pieces to the puzzle. I think Clemson and Louisville are, to me, they fight for that second spot, but I think Louisville looks better. I think defensively they're talented. Chuck has been playing really, really well. And they got guys, right? They got what's his name? The shooter. What is his name? I can't remember his name. The shooter.
You talking about Louisville? I mean, they've got the point guard and Chucky Hepburn, who's been great. Is it you talking about Louisville?
I'm talking about Louisville. Chucky Hepburn. They got the shooter, who's
Smith,
they
right?
love him over there. Smith. Every time he shoots the ball, right? Everyone thinks it's going in. They got Hadley, who's had a couple big games. Edwards Jr.'s had a couple big games. So, they got a lot of guys over there. And defensively, Pat Kelsey's got them. They got the dogs are out over there.
Yeah. Very impressive, especially the showing the other night inside the Dome. And I guess as we wrap things up here, do you have any sort of message to the Cuse fans here, either about your playing time here or just
what's going on,
or just what's going on now? Any sort of message to Orange Nation?
It's always much love for me for Orange Nation. I love the fans there. They were so great to me and my family. I'm gonna start showing face a little bit more, coming to the games and being acclimated with Syracuse and the culture there. I look forward to doing that, and miss and love everybody, and go Cuse always.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on, and best of luck with this new job. And we look forward to seeing you more, and we look forward to seeing you back here inside the Dome, in the not too distant future.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys.
All right. Michael Carter-Williams, our guest here on the show. Paulie?
He's got pipes on him.
He does. He's got a voice for this business.
I'm like whiny.
Very well
annoying.
spoken, just knows the game.
I sound like I got a stuffy nose and I'm a toddler.
He's going to do
crying.
well. He's going to do well in this business. All right.
Can't remember. The flag is very good. I'm jealous.
That's pretty good. Maybe you should throw your voice when you're on there.
Would people respect me more if I said, I would like Chris Bell back next year?
I don't know if you need a southern accent when you
Y'all.
say it. All right, we're going to take a timeout. Phone lines open, 315-437-7644. Phone lines open for the next half hour. Tom Walters, 115, Thad Brown, 130. Back after this on ESPN Radio. Thanks, Mike B.
Thank you, Dilemma Q's. What do you think of Steve's shirt? Pretty ugly, right?
What's wrong with my shirt?
No, you have the very similar shirt on to me. Underneath.
Yeah,
you have,
I have that exact shirt. I didn't wear it today. But,
we used to
every once in a while. Yeah, every once in a while we would.
There's past players at the games, guys. Syracuse does such a
Thanks,
horrible job
Telemachus.
of putting them on the stadium cameras. I don't know why it's so hard for them. Hey, there's a key more. God forbid we get the crowd fired up. Yeah, the one thing that I think will be, if it is going to be the downfall of Red, is something that he mentioned. Michael Carter Williams is, if Red isn't able to develop players, he's probably going to struggle. If it's every year, he like Jerry Red, like Boeheim, they built those great seasons off of players like Michael Carter Williams, Chris Joseph. Remember, like they got those guys. Who's the other shooter? James Sutherland. Those guys all stuck around and learned Scoop. Yeah, it's like there's very few players that came in as like freshmen and were productive.
I feel like if you want to do a kicker today, we should do it after the picks. I'm just gonna make them today's business, and then we got the match game, then we just have 2 interviews. And Paul really killed you in the match game. You had like a fairly commanding lead.
What a piece! Why wasn't I called? Put me on. Call me next time.
I'm just gonna have you on the phone for 2 segments of a show.
You said you're not going to miss any shows for Clemson, right? Because Mario was asking me.
Tuesday I will.
Do you need him or no?
Yes.
Oh, you got him? Okay. I told him I didn't think we needed him, so.
I'll do Wednesday. Thursday I might need somebody. Thursday I will need somebody because I'm not driving back.
No pressure. I was just letting you know.
I'm not coming Thursday. I quit. I really don't want to do Thursday, especially if they lose. What are you blaming on Alex Klein? I don't understand you. He's not in charge of like recruiting either. Like, no show Monday. There's a crunch game.
In Philly's Most Wanted, there's a difference between starting in the. He started in July.
Yeah,
like I don't know what you would have wanted him to do. I mean, everybody had a landing spot by July.
Yeah, people are stupid. Stop. Philly's Most Stupid. Oh wait, I think I like him. I normally like you. Why are you being like this today? I know. Too short, Steve. So you want to be a gangster. Speaking of too short, Jordan joins us right now. He's the one person I can say that to. Him and Cody are both shorter than me. I'm a giant compared to the staff. I'd be posting people up.
Would I be the center on our squad?
Oh, yeah. we would be 3-guard offense, definitely.
All right.
I would probably be the power forward.
Wow. I don't think we're beating too many teams with you at power forward. Or me at center, for that matter. All right. We welcome in Jordan. Jordan, what's up?
Some football picks on the way.
Okay, we'll do that. I want to lead with something here before we get into this. It's very important.
Okay, yeah, we're right on time.
This is more important than the transfer portal, Chris Bell's shooting, Michael Carter-Williams, and Jordan combined.
Okay, that's how I know it's really stupid. Go on.
Jordan and I both have the exact same polls up on our Twitters. You should go check it out. Of whether or not Scrappy Doo sucks.
Yeah, this is a kicker. Dateline, Twitter.
So you can go up and vote. I'm not even going to lead it in any way and tell you who thinks he's good.
I'm losing my own poll that was going to be skewed. No, I'm not. Stop. Because now you're making me mad. Everybody hates Scrappy Doo. What did he do?
He ruined Scooby-Doo.
No, he didn't.
He did.
He did, dude. He came in
anything.
he came in and tried to take over the show.
Maybe if they had let him at them, then it would have been better.
It's like the saying, it jumped the shark. It jumped the shark when he came on board. You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's with all the slander and vitriol?
Put him up. Just stupid.
Yeah.
He sucked.
Yeah. I stopped watching when he joined the show.
Like, I want to hear Fred and Shaggy talk.
He was trying to get in the we know all their
He was
bits,
trying
dude.
too hard. He was
like
trying too hard.
Shaggy's high and Daphne or Velma, whichever one.
Kevin from Liverpool loves Scrappy Doo.
Velma lost her glasses, and we need a new angle. And Scrappy's just aggressive.
There's a weird thing going on. There's a weird
show.
thing going on the social medias with Velma too.
Yeah,
girls are dressing like.
Not aware of that.
Yeah, they're trying to.
Good answer after the.
Yeah, after your
no
twerk video. Okay, so we know what you like.
He came in ready. Steve came in ready.
If you were a Scooby-Doo character, what one would you be? Go. You're Fred.
I'd be Fred.
Yeah, you're definitely Fred. Jordan Shaggy.
What about Scooby?
I'd probably be Scooby.
Yeah, Scooby.
I'm annoying. Yeah, I'm Scrappy. I'm annoying. All right, let's go.
Limited amount of picks this week. We have 4 playoff games, and we have the championship game, which is also part of the match game. But we don't have to worry about that. We each had 7 games last week. We did all 6 playoff games, and we had to wait on the national championship game. I think I had the best week.
How'd I do in picks I didn't make last week?
You, I think, had the second best week.
Yes.
Steve had the worst week.
Am I in contention still?
Yeah, you and Steve are still kind of back and forth. I brought the wrong paper in. I don't
Okay,
have
that's
the
fine.
record, so,
As long as I can catch him.
I'm out of it.
I got you. This is my year.
Yeah, let's just go in order of games, fellas. Texans Chiefs is an 8-point spread. What are we thinking?
Give me the Texans to cover, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't really have a great feeling about any of these games. The lines are so big in 3 of them, and
+8.
I feel like those teams are all significantly better. Like, I think the Chiefs are going to win. Are they going to win by more than 8? I guess so. I guess give me the Chiefs to win by 10 or more. But I mean, I could see the Texans scoring late to the backdoor cover, as you like to say. But I think the Chiefs are going to win this game comfortably.
An 8-point spread with a total of 42 is kind of gross. If you parlay those, that's going to be great.
Well, Jim Coventry said take the under on the Texans. He doesn't expect them to score much. So, I mean, you could see a
I know that feeling.
23-7 win or something like that.
Oh, at this point in the playoffs, and this is going to be a theme throughout these picks, if you're given a spread this big in these important games, I'm just going to take it. So I'll take Kansas City.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the same thing. Lions get 9.5 against the Commanders. Commanders, great story. Lions, great team.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think the Lions are going to win this one by a lot. So I know it's a big number, but give me the Lions to cover.
Let me throw this at you.
No.
When are the Lions going to lion? Is it going to be this week? Is it going to be next week? Is it going to be the Super Bowl?
I know what you mean.
Their defense,
I think Dan Campbell
they're a
is
mash unit,
different.
right?
They are. If they lose, I don't think it's because the Lions lioned. I think it's because the injuries finally caught up with them. But I don't think I don't think it's this week. I think next week's going to be tough. I think the Eagles. I assume the Eagles are going to win. I think beating Philly's going to be tough, but I think the Lions control this game.
Give me the Commanders plus 9.5.
Okay.
I'm not going to say what you like me to say. And don't be surprised if they win this game.
Because you would be surprised.
Yes, I would be. So we'll go Commanders to cover.
All right, Rams, Eagles. They're not giving the Eagles the full touchdown, but 6.5 is what I'm seeing.
So the forecast is for very cold, precipitation, potentially some snow, kind of like the Bills game. One of those teams is used to that. The other one is not. And Matthew Stafford's record in those kinds of games, not great. I think the Eagles win this. I'm taking all the favorites here. I think the Eagles cover.
Give me the Eagles. I can't make up ground doing that, but I gotta agree with you, Steve.
I don't think you got to make up that much ground. We still got the Super Bowl too. Like we got like prop bets and
all bowls are super.
6.5 actually sticks out to me as kind of odd. Like the Eagles are a good team, and they're not giving you the full touchdown. Also, you get a lot of this Nick Sirianni's not that good of a coach narrative, whereas Sean McVay is undoubtedly a mastermind. And I think that we might see that this weekend. Like I'm not saying the Rams will win. I think they can at least keep it close. They're playing some really good football, and the Eagles are just looking to win.
It's going to be strength against strength, right? Because they like to throw the ball, and the Eagles have a really good pass defense. So it'll be interesting to see which wins out. I think it may be tough to throw the ball in those conditions, but we shall see.
I have faith. I'm not going to also say they might win because I don't know if it'll happen, but I think it'll be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Can I just take a sidestep really quick? There's this weird thing going on in our chat that they're talking about something that we're not talking about, and it's distracting me. Philly's Most Wanted is giving the new GM for Syracuse guff because his name is attached to the final high school recruit in papers and whatnot. I think the GM's name's probably going to be associated with every player post his arrival because he has to make the deals. I'm not positive on that.
Makes sense.
But, and no matter, even if he was the one who got this kid, it was in July and it was probably not a lot of, room in the roster.
Yeah. To say that he hasn't contributed anything to this point, I think is incredibly unfair given when he started. And I don't think that's an excuse. Yeah. It is a fact.
Yeah. Now, what if this kid comes out and what if he found a diamond in the rough and you're like,
right. Yeah. Can we
let it happen?
Right.
It's just like I'm telling Steve not to give up on Chris Bell. Let the season happen. I don't know why he's so down on him.
I'm not giving up on him. I don't think he's a priority. That's all.
All right, let's go. Ravens, Bills. Is that what we're at in this trash?
Yeah, give me the Bills, I guess. If the Bills aren't going to do it now, then they're never going to do it. Like, literally never. Like, this is it. It's now or never. Never, ever.
So I've talked myself into the Bills on this one. I do think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a great game. I look back at that first meeting, and so much has changed since then. And I know the Ravens are better. The Bills are a lot better, and the Bills are a lot healthier. They did not have Von Miller for that game. He's been fantastic the last month or so of the season. They did not have Matt Milano for that game. He was out with injury. Bernard was out. Taron Johnson out. Taylor Rapp was out. Amari Cooper was not on the team yet.
Virgie.
This is a home game now for the Bills.
Shout out to @Ritzy199 on X. Dawn, you seem like a lovely sports analyst.
So I think you look at the fact that there are a lot of reasons to like this team more now than you did back then. Obviously, the Ravens ran all over them. The stats were a little bit skewed. The 287 yards rushing, 99 of them came on one play. Derrick Henry's going to be a problem. I get that. But I think there are a lot of reasons to think the Bills are better now. I'm going to go with the Bills.
I am going to take the team with the MVP that I think is the MVP at quarterback this year, the Baltimore Ravens.
That was like a double.
That was. Was that necessary?
Yes, because that's a double-decker punch right there. That was an uppercut to your ego. Ravens plus -1.
All right, national championship.
It's hard not to cover that.
I'm going +1 with the Bills, and don't be surprised if they win the game. By the way.
It's hard not to cover a 1.
I know.
8 points for Ohio State. I'm taking them. They're going to blow Notre Dame out.
Oh, man, I don't know what to make of this. I think you're right. I think you're right, Jordan. I'm taking a lot of favorites here. I'll go Ohio State.
People in the chat, I normally hate them, but they seem to love my Lamar Jackson MVP joke.
Hilarious.
Sometimes they can,
I do
broken
wish
watch is right once a day.
I do wish that the voting wasn't already in because I feel like what?
I just got the broken watch saying wrong. Okay, go ahead.
There's nothing to go ahead. You just need to pick the national.
Who'd you pick?
Game.
I picked Ohio State.
Give me Notre Dame to cover.
What?
Yeah, that's a lot of spread. 8 points. Let's go. I want this game to be close. Like all the games have sucked, really. Thank you. Have you ever met somebody who, when their glasses fell off, they couldn't see at all?
Yeah.
Like
as a matter
Velma?
of fact, I have. Yes.
Like they just their life is completely over.
So I am one of those people, Paulie, and I mean, I wear contacts, but if I'm home and I don't have my contacts in or I can't find my glasses, like I can't see.
You're on the ground?
Yes.
Feeling around?
As a matter of fact, like my wife makes fun of me about it. Like
She call you Velma?
She does not call me Velma, but
okay, I'm going to text her that, Jordan. I don't have her number.
All right, let's take a time out. We got to get back on time here. We've got Tom Walters coming up in 10 minutes. That Brown 1:30. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
Mikey P says he's like that also.
Guys, is Chris Bell as important as signing J.J. Starling back, or is it as important?
That's not what I said.
No. They're saying I'm saying prioritize. Prioritize means he's a priority.
He'd be third on my list.
Is he?
Priority.
Elijah Moore? Is he more important than Elijah Moore
right now? Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, because I've seen more out of Chris Bell in 2 years.
Right, but he's a no-show this year.
Can we do a throwback
Like
day
I'm fine either way if he comes back, but like to say that he's more important than anybody else on the roster. I mean,
yeah, I would say
that's
he
an
is.
exaggeration. But
let's let the rest of the season out. But if I had to take one of them right now, I would take Chris Bell.
Okay,
we should do a throwback.
I think he needs to change the scenery.
We just don't look at the chat for a day, and we're pay homage to the old days of radio.
Donnie and JJ, what's that? We're gonna do the Hindenburg crash.
No, I said we should do a throwback day where we just don't look at the chat one day and we just pay homage to the old days of radio where
the humanity.
Where everybody just, says things that are on their mind in a clear, linear manner.
And listen, LA Orange to use that phrase in describing anybody, I think is kind of unacceptable. So
now you've done it.
No, listen, you don't have to. You don't have to cross the line. Call me autistic. Like, come on.
You're like Rain Man. Pat crossed the line with me yesterday. Thank you. Apology accepted. It's okay, LA Orange. We all have moments. Steve might not accept it, but I do.
I don't.
I think I'm more inflexible than Steve.
So how cool would it be if we just did a day of shows where we just
LA Orange, am I allowed to have an opinion? That means I'm inflexible, or can I have an opinion on something? I think Chris Bell would benefit from going somewhere else. That is my opinion.
I would.
I think
the team will be fine without him, and I think he could be better.
I would benefit from going somewhere else. Maybe I'll apply for a job at Clemson. He's not my top priority, but if I can get as many people back as possible, I will.
Again, I'm fine either way. I don't think they need him. I think they're fine with or without him.
Clemson wouldn't let me pass security. I get past Clemson security every day, every time I go there.
See, because with the portal, you just put your information in once, and then everybody can make offers. Like, you don't just have to, submit everything to everyone individually. Just, how easy would it be?
I don't know if Brian was with me on this trip.
If there were a radio transfer portal.
But, We went to a Clemson like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock kick, and we were like 6 hours ahead of the broadcast, and they were already doing pregame.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
I don't think I want to go to Clemson. I don't want to be doing a 6-hour pregame
6 hours of pregame is disgusting. It can't be the same person for 6 hours, can it?
No, but if I'm program director, I've got to get 6 hours of stupid lined up.
Although I do think that, one, before like maybe the first football game or something, I feel like one of our, like an analyst or somebody we had on said they were doing like 12 hours of lead up to the like something crazy. I was just like, dude, like.
We were listening to the pregame show on the hour drive to do our pregame show, which is 2 hours long.
Or would it be the pregame pre-show?
Yeah, somebody that asked what recruit did they get that you weren't expecting anything out of but was good? When's the last time? I'd say Peter's on that list. What's it? The skinny center was like that.
Talking about like Marac?
Marac was like that.
You mean Jesse Edwards?
Jesse Edwards
was a little bit like that.
Buddy. I mean, he was IMG though. Buddy.
Jimmy scored a lot of first baskets.
He did.
Did you take advantage of that?
No, there's no way to.
And you don't know me yet.
Hour number 2. A guy who deserves his own day on our show, Big Daddy Kane. Enough respect due. You know what's happening in our YouTube chat? Mike McAllister is doing what I do, and he's fighting with the stupid people. Mike, you can at least avoid this. This is my job to deal with it. You can go sit at your desk and do whatever you do in your spare time, in your real job.
All right, we got to get to today's business. Brought to you by Grossman St. Moore CPAs. Where do we find them on the web, Jordan?
GSACPAs.com.
All right, what do you got for us?
I don't have anything. There's nothing on the rundown. Do we have time for the match game or no?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hold, please.
The world's fastest match game coming up.
How about that?
Paul absolutely killed your lead, Paulie. You now lead by just 2. Steve's making a match game comeback. He could be the first double crown winner in Orange Nation history.
Yeah, he needed me to have someone else suck in order to catch me.
Congratulations. Nobody's team is eliminated from the national championship winner. Paulie has Notre Dame. Steve and I have Ohio State. World's fastest match game. Who's going to have more points tomorrow? Marcus Burton or J.J. Starling?
That's a good question. J.J. Starling.
Question. Yeah, I'm going to go J.J. as well. A little extra motivated, coming off a bad game. Former team, yeah.
Get the sounder ready. I'm going Starling too. Last time these two teams played, Braden Shrewsbury had 6 threes. Syracuse had none. Who's going to make more threes tomorrow, Braden Shrewsbury or the Orange? You might think it sounds
Orange.
dumb. Orange. Give me Shrewsbury, man. Give me Shrewsbury.
I mean, I don't know.
Chris Bell's going to go off.
Are they going to let him do it again?
I'm a new Chris Bell fan.
Yeah, they got to worry about Burton.
Yeah, well, again, that takes opportunities away from Shrewsbury. We'll see.
We will see. How many points will there be in the game? Both teams are averaging 75. In the last game without the 2 stars, they combined for just 133. Don't have a total yet. You probably won't get a spread total until tonight or early tomorrow. But how many total points will we get in the game?
145.
130.
Yuck. Less than last game? I'm liking 148. I'm liking 148 a lot. Little interlude. We got a Penn State wide receiver potentially looking at Syracuse. Let's talk positive. A week from now, how many transfers will be incoming to Syracuse football?
That's it. Like, dude, can I get a nut? Like, I don't know.
No, you can. Nobody knows.
Like within the next week, how many will they?
Yeah, by the
pick
next
up?
time we play the game, how many
2.
how many transfers will Syracuse land? Not recruits.
I mean, they're going heavy on freshmen.
I'm going
say,
1.
I'll say 3.
3 transfers.
I went
Yeah.
2. We
Okay.
did the
We got a
straight.
straight.
Yeah. Yahtzee.
All right. Paulie is missing 2 shows next week. I ask, how many shows will Stephen Fonte be sick for next week?
All of them.
Out of 4.
I'm not going to be sick for any.
I'm sick for this one.
You can't guarantee that. Sometimes you get sick.
Sometimes I get sick, but I'm feeling good right now.
He's going 0.
I just got back from Disney. I feel refreshed, although this week took a lot out of me. No, 0.
Dateline England. Natalie Brown went to find a Food Network recipe on her computer. Have you heard this story,
No,
Steve?
I haven't.
And found a naughty video of herself online that her husband had posted without her knowing about.
Really?
Because she went to type Food Network on, and the F led to another website. You know how that happens when you start typing?
right.
And there she was.
Really?
Yeah. How's that grab you? That's not fun.
Are they not together anymore?
I haven't gotten that far into the story. I was shook by the headline.
Jordan didn't really finish what he was doing.
Oh, sorry.
You want to?
Don't worry about it.
No, we're okay.
I thought we were done.
Well,
we have a guest at 1:15.
You quit in the middle of a question. Why would you think we were
Because it's
done?
1:15.
Don't worry about it.
That story was way more important than what Jordan was.
I agree. Don't worry about it.
Paulie, do you want to answer the question?
I don't even know what it was. I was reading
worry
that
about
story.
How many days am I going to be sick next week?
Oh, I said all of them.
Okay.
I answered that.
Oh, yeah, I thought you said that jokingly. That's actually his answer. Okay, that's not going to happen. He's going to lose that.
You said none.
Okay, I didn't know you were serious.
But you said I didn't let it happen. I did, and I heard it all. I thought I
Okay.
missed a question.
All right.
No, I just
That's
didn't
why I
think
thought
all
it was.
of them-
That's why I thought it was over. Because I thought that was
All
a
right,
good.
quickly. Let's do our last.
I thought that was the. I thought that
We
was
are
the kicker
so
question.
blatantly late right now.
All
Don't
right.
worry about it. Let's just move on.
I thought
Let's
that
just
was
go.
the kicker
All right.
question.
Instead of
Let's go.
arguing, we could have gotten through 3 more questions by
Let's just
now.
go. This-
Tom
don't put
Walters
this on me.
joins us next on ESPN Radio.
The kicker question. Thought we were done. My computer's frozen. That was a very wholesome response to that, Steve.
What?
Are they still together? Why do you have that look on your face?
Well,
right
I mean, did he do
you
it?
okay?
Yeah.
Like, why did he do it?
Okay, so I didn't want to get it. It's not exactly the most radio-friendly story. He asked her to do it blindfolded, and she agreed. And he videotaped it and uploaded it to.
Why wouldn't he tell her, though?
Because she probably wouldn't have wanted it, Steve.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I don't know. I don't go in.
Well, that leads me to believe they're not together. I don't know.
I thought it was over when he did the "how many days are you going to be sick" question.
Well, he normally asks us who's going to win.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought he went to his kicker story. I'm bad clock management on my part. My YouTube video is way behind, but the chat isn't. Oh, we all do need to decompress. Syracuse better win against Notre Dame. Thank God we have Monday off. Right? If they lose, we don't even have to address it.
We're going to have to address it at some point.
No, because we'll be on to the Clemson game. And I'm off Tuesday.
You won't have to address it. If they lose,
I'll do the show
talk about
Wednesday, game day from my hotel room.
So you're not doing Tuesday. He's doing Tuesday.
No, I got to drive. I'm driving.
Right. Okay.
I was going to leave Monday and get there on Tuesday and do the show, but
Yeah.
I have to. I have to engineer the Coach Jack show from Wegmans on Monday.
kill the mics for 1 second.
Guys, the 44 does not mean anything in basketball. They were great players, but 44 was. I don't want to do this. .44 was worn by Jim Brown and the first African American to win the Heisman Trophy in football. Guys, there's a movie about it. For the love of fuck. There's never going to be a Derek Coleman, John Wallace movie. It's almost over. It's almost the weekend. Yeah, I would watch the DC movie. I don't know. I kind of am with Jordan with the old radio day. Let's just do a radio day where if these dopes want to say these things out loud, they got to call in to do it. They can talk amongst their idiotic selves. My computer just crashed, so I hope that's our guess. Three days, I think we get a new computer in here, Brian and Jordan, so things might be okay soon. Did I do It's Going Down? I think so. Did you know that the Juice soundtrack they gave the world 4 top 100 Billboard hits, Steve? This is right? One of them. Is It Good to You by Teddy Riley and Tammy Lucas. Are you a big fan of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and Teddy Riley and
I like this song.
Guy? Teddy Riley was in Guy.
I think
right?
so.
I think that's our second Guy reference
this week.
Yeah, wow. It's a lot of guys.
All right, let's bring on another guy here as we go back to our guest line.
Welcome to Guy Talk.
We bring on our good friend Tom Walters, Communications Director for the Onondaga County Public Libraries, to tell us all about the MLK Day game, the Crunch Literacy Day at the Onondaga County War Memorial. Crunch taking on the Comets Monday beginning at 1, which is why we don't have a show as we welcome in Tom. How are you today, Tom?
I'm good. I was wondering what was taking so long. I thought it was like an important sports interview, some classic insights, but I just listened to that last segment. Holy jeez.
Yeah, we got a little bit behind. We've been behind all week given just what's going on with SU basketball. So Paulie needs a little bit of, he needs a break every once in a while. So last segment was that break. All right, so let's talk about, I guess, first and foremost, how the Literacy Day came about, because this is the third year you're doing it. How did this idea, come to be a couple years ago?
They reached out to me. I had just started the libraries, and they wanted to do something cool, and that 1 p.m. matinee game is the only matinee game that they have. And they're always looking, with the kids off of that day, they're always looking to try and get more and more kids in. And they thought, kids, literacy, libraries. And the first year went well, second year even better. And we're looking forward to a fantastic year 3.
All right. So it's a way certainly to expose the next generation of hockey fans to the sport. What else can the kids and parents, I guess, for that matter, what else can everybody expect that day from a literacy standpoint and from the job that you do?
Lots of stuff going on, especially early. If you show up when the doors open at 11:45, we'll be at a table at Memorial Hall. We also have another literacy group with us, Book Buddies. They do a lot of working with kids in the city schools in the elementary age. So they'll have a little corner of our table we'll have some raffles set up. We've got a Zamboni raffle. One of the kids can win a Zamboni ride between the first and second period. We also have free books from the Literacy Coalition of Onondaga County. They work with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, so they got us a bunch of books for free to hand out to the kids if they come up to our table. We'll sign kids up for library cards. We have a button maker with a bunch of hockey-themed buttons going on, and also free comic books for the kids that don't want the Dolly Parton books. We worked out a deal with our friends from Funky Town Comics and Vinyl and Comic Zone in North Syracuse. They came up with a batch of books that we're also going to hand out free. So lots of free reading stuff. We've also got Crunch merch that they gave us that we're going to raffle off.
We mentioned this is the third year of this. What's the feedback been like from the Crunch on this game? I mean, they must like it because they're bringing you back here for a third year now. What's the feedback been like with this partnership?
They love it. I've been working with Joe Martin and Jim Cirosi, and I was just talking to Joe a few minutes ago, finalizing some of the details. Joe said that they're close to a sellout, which is phenomenal for a Monday 1 p.m. game. So they love working with us, and we brought Jim into the Salve Library a couple months ago to work with the reading to the kids for a food bank program that they have. The food bank does some stuff with us at various libraries. I think we had Iris in from Channel 9 a couple of years ago. We had Rachel Polanski in this year, and then Jim Cirosi had it over to the Salve Library and read to some of the kids. So the Crunch are fantastic to work with. I mean, they love us and we love them.
You know, along those lines, Tom, when you and I were growing up, we didn't have, cell phones that we could go on and Google anything or read anything we wanted to. You know, we needed to pick up a book. We needed to go to the library. We needed to do research,
The Dewey Decimal System.
Using encyclopedias. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, times have changed so much. In this day and age, I mean, can you speak to some of the unique and creative ways that you guys go about trying to get books in kids' hands, and I guess how important that is, to the next generation?
Well, September is library card sign-up month, so what Maggie Foster, who is our outreach communications person, and I do is we contact different schools across Onondaga County, and we go in for like a day, and we sign kids up for library cards, and we just try to make it as fun and as easy as possible. Maggie will be there on Monday at our table, and she'll sign up some kids for library cards there. And there's so many cool things. I mean, kids can take out video games if they want. There's music they can get. There's park passes. You can get free park passes if you have a library card to places like Green Lakes, Jamesville Beach. There's that water park that's up in Oswego, Corning Museum of Glass, a whole host of things that you can get free passes for just by having a library card. You say, I want to rent this out for a weekend, maybe get it on a Friday. You'll have like 2-3 days to try and get it done and bring it back.
All right, Tom, great stuff. Anything we didn't touch on that you want to get across to our listeners before we let you go?
Yeah, I had a listener contact me. His name's Mario S., and he wants to know why you don't golf with him like Mark Larson used to do.
I have said this to him. For real, he golfs more than any person I know on the face of the earth. Yes, he does, which is great for him. But we'll make that happen this summer. And if you would like to come, you should join us. We should. I don't know if you play golf or not, but we should do that. It would be a great way to catch up. All right, Tom, be well. Best of luck with the game on Monday.
Thanks very much. Good talking to you guys.
All right, Tom Walters, our guest here on the show. We got back-to-back guests lined up.
Do they still teach the Dewey Decimal System?
No, I don't think so.
It's not. Like, don't kids have to go to the school library?
I don't know. I mean,
do you remember writing reports where you had to get the encyclopedia?
Of course, yeah.
Like, it was brutal. Like, you had to be somewhere to do a report, or unless you were rich and you had an encyclopedia set at your house. We had one, but I was in high school in 1986 to 1990, and the encyclopedia was from, like, the late 50s, early 60s when my other brothers were using it. Yeah. So I don't know, so you couldn't use them.
I mean, we've come such a long ways from where we were, like, when we were kids, when you think about that, right?
But that seems like such a giant leap.
Yeah.
Like, how many years did they go needing the libraries, and then in like 5 years, gone? Like,
how about like just directions to places? Like you used to have to either. I remember when I was a kid, like my dad would get the maps and like.
Oh yeah, you had to go to AAA
and get the map.
triptychs.
And then we graduated to like MapQuest online, where
you had to print it out in advance.
Right, and now it's just like, man, everything's on our phone. And it's.
Do you ever wonder like how hard it must have been for pizza delivery guys back then?
Right.
Like they had to find a house number.
Yeah, right.
Now it'll take you right to a driveway.
I know, it's unbelievable. All right, let's take a time.
Go yell at the clouds.
Thad Brown joins us to talk Bills next on ESPN Radio.
You remember the annoying kid from the Encyclopedia Britannica commercials when we were younger? Blonde-haired kid. You remember the annoying commercial kid? The kid from the
yeah.
I've interviewed him before. He's a nice guy. I had this idea to do a Where Are They Now podcast, and I taped like 3 of them, and I've never aired them. I did Snow, the guy from the Encyclopedia Britannica commercials, and the Dude You're Getting Adele guy. It's kind of a good idea. Yeah. I don't know that you need to, like, he would be third on my priority list, but I also don't know that you need to, like, prioritize him, but I would like him back.
L.A. Orange, I don't know why this is so difficult to understand. Like, he has been a no-show this year for the most part. If he's not making shots, he's been useless to them. And again, I'm not saying he can't come back. I'm saying, so to prioritize someone means to make them a priority, right? I think JJ is more important, certainly. Donnie Freeman's more important, certainly. I think Elijah is more important. I think even Peter's more important. You get Bell for 1 more year. If he comes back, great. But
you're probably going to get Bell for 2 more because they're going to probably let everybody play an
right. Okay.
I would
listen.
Everybody on this team before I went.
But again, you say
elsewhere, I would give everybody the opportunity.
Okay, I'm fine if he comes back. I think they'll be okay either way. I mean, has he been a difference maker this year? I realize there's been games where he has taken them over. That was a thing of the past, though. Has he been a difference maker at all this year in his 3rd year? Yeah, I 100% agree with Dilemma Cuse. He is not much different than when he was a freshman. And he's in his 3rd year. Like, he has not gotten better. He's still making the same mistakes. I mean, that play at BC the other day where he missed a shot, was barking at the official, and the ball was literally right in front of him. Like, that is a microcosm of what has been wrong with him. Again, Philly's most wanted. I'm not saying, like, he can't come back. I'm saying I don't think he's a priority. And I think he might benefit from moving on and going somewhere else. And I think the team's going to be fine either way. And I don't think that's controversial. Like, he has not been a difference maker this year.
I forgot to tell you that somebody called Coach Autry last night and told him that Chris Bell should be used putting the ball on the floor more because he's a better driver than he is a shooter.
Who said that?
Some guy that called.
What?
Like, do they need to? Like, where's Peter going?
Again, I'm not saying you back up the Brinks truck. I'm saying I think I'm more interested to see what he can do, or like Elijah Moore can do. I think we know what Chris Bell is. Like, I think
he's better than Chapel Moore right now.
Yeah, but
let's see
what
at the
can
end of the
Chapel
year.
Moore be? Right, the players generally get better, right?
Yeah.
So
generally,
yeah, Chris Bell has not. It's year 3, and he's still doing the same things.
McLeod hasn't gotten better.
No. But we called that. I mean, we saw that one coming. I did not see this coming with Chris Bell.
Yeah, I would rather just have him stay and you not have to go find somebody.
Okay. I mean, but
you got a freshman.
You want somebody who's
him?
what is one of the biggest issues with his team is consistent 3-point shooting. You thought he was that, and he's not.
You don't think he can get back to that?
I honestly don't know.
We'll find out.
I think this is more than a slump, Paul. I think this is more than a slump.
He dropped 18 last game
in garbage time.
Crushed at Florida State.
But again, like they lost by 16. Like, can he do it? Can you do it? Like,
yes,
you want your best. You want your best 3-point shooter to be a guy who comes off the bench, or do you want him to be a starter?
I would rather have yeah. It depends. I agree with the consistent effort. Let's talk Bills. This, my friend Steve, will make me happy. This, my friend Steve, is a banger off of the Juice soundtrack. You know what this is?
This is Naughty by Nature, right? Yeah.
Uptown Anthem.
Yeah.
Killer song.
This was one of the four, right? You said four Billboard hits. This had to be one of the four. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Thad Brown as we close out the week talking Bills football. Bills-Ravens this weekend. Thad, we're so glad to be talking anything other than SU basketball at the moment. How are you today?
Not bad, man. I understand. Happy to take you away from the drudgery that is Syracuse basketball. By the way, I wondered a couple weeks ago if the Syracuse football team might win more basketball games than the Syracuse basketball, or more games than the Syracuse basketball. Is that possible still?
I mean, mathematically, it's possible. I don't think that's going to happen. But
why did you do that? Do you know what that you just did to our listeners? You just gave them fodder. They're just going.
Even Thad Brown thinks that.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. No, I mean, what are they, 8-9 right now? So, I mean, mathematically, it's possible. It's not going to happen. But, God, for our sakes, let's hope it doesn't happen. What did you say
when I said Lamar Jackson was that necessary?
right. Yeah. All right, let's talk about this game. We're all looking forward to this. I know that I am. 6:30 Sunday night. I guess let's start with the weather forecast. I heard, very cold, and there may be some snow. Is the weather going to be an issue at all other than the cold? Will there be precipitation?
No. Yeah, no, precipitation shouldn't be a problem. It should just be cold, and really, it shouldn't be much of a football problem, I don't think. It's going to be no fun to be outside for anybody. You know, I don't care what player. Now, we did talk to Spencer Brown, and Spencer Brown said, and I quote, "I hope it's 40-mile-per-hour winds, 3 feet of snow," and I don't remember the temperature, but like 10 degrees under. And then after the interview, we said, "Spencer, nobody wants it to be like that." He's like, "I want it to be like that." So other than Spencer Brown, no one's going to want to be outside Sunday night. But it really shouldn't impact the game other than, making it uncomfortable.
All right, so they played once, obviously. It was a long time ago. It was the end of September. It was in Baltimore, and I don't need to remind you what happened. I mean, the Ravens ran all over the Bills, 287 yards on the ground or whatever it was, and Derrick Henry had a field day. These teams are different. Yes, Baltimore's better. I was making the point earlier in the show, Buffalo's a lot better as well, a lot healthier, right? I mean, how much is that health, especially on defense, with Milano in this game and Bernard in this game and Taron Johnson in this game and Taylor Rapp, and that wasn't the case the first time around. How big of a difference will that make against this rushing offense of Baltimore's?
It's got to make a huge difference. I mean, we're not talking about just 3 guys on defense. We're talking about the entire second level of the defense. Basically, Taron Johnson's a linebacker in this the way they play this scheme. So you're talking about all 3 guys who are on that linebacker level, did not play the first game, and they're going to be back. And then on top of it, if you rank the top 5 most talented players on the Bills defense, those 3 guys are probably in the group. So these are good players at important spots. So it has to help. But even separate of that, the Bills' run defense has been getting better on its own. And maybe the Milano return has a factor here. But it's not just, linebacker play or anything like that. The defensive line's been better. The corners have done a better job of tackling. First 12 games of the year, the Bills allowed 4.9 yards a carry. That number's down to 3.7 over the last 6 weeks. For context, 4.9 is like the 4th worst number in the year regular season-wise. 3.7 would be second best. So it's a wild change over the last few weeks. And, there's some tomato cans in there with the Jets and the Patriots or whatever, but they also shut down a really good run game in Detroit. So they've proven they can do it against the elite teams. And they don't got to hold the Ravens to 49 like they did against the Lions. But like you said, it just can't be 8 gazillion yards. And I think the Bills are in good shape to make that happen.
All right, from a health perspective, I think you had said last week the Bills are in pretty good shape health-wise. Does that still hold true through last week's game? And Baltimore, they're currently without Zay Flowers. Are you hearing anything in terms of whether or not, I know he didn't practice yesterday, what are the odds in your mind that Zay Flowers plays?
Probably 1 in 10. Now, John Harbaugh did say that it's still possible he might play. He didn't practice at all this week, but that was like 15 minutes ago in Baltimore. Harbaugh said that there's still a chance. So this is at least going to go into Sunday, which frankly probably increases the odds that I thought he was going to play from what I thought yesterday, which was less than 1 in 10. But even if he does play, he's not going to be, anywhere probably close to 100%. So I don't think Zay Flowers is likely to be, much of a factor in this game. And for the Bills, now Ray Davis is still in concussion protocol, but he was pretty active at practice yesterday, seemed from the eye to be on the forward, the trending good side of it. And then Sean McDermott literally said today that Alec Anderson, the 6th offensive lineman, was also trending in the right direction with a calf injury. So while the Bills are slightly more dinged up than last week, I think they're going to probably have the full stable of players to go with on Sunday.
We expect, we know how the Ravens are going to try to move the ball. I can't imagine they're going to go away from, Lamar and Derrick Henry. When you look at the Bills side, they have a lot of ways they could beat you, right? They could beat you with Josh Allen's legs. They could beat you with Josh Allen's arm. They could beat you with James Cook. They could beat you with your tight ends. How do you think they go about trying to, beat the Ravens offensively on Sunday?
I think they do want to continue running the ball like they have, because it's a way to make things easier on everyone. When you can just give the ball to James Cook or whoever and get 4, 5, 6, 7 yards of pop, stay ahead of the sticks. When you're in 3rd and 3 or 2 with this Bills offense where Josh Allen is a legitimate threat to run, it's really hard to stop. So the more often the Bills can keep themselves in manageable down and distance, that is the preference for sure. Because even though, the receivers are fine and can do some things, there's no doubt that the pass catching group is the weakest part of this offense. And if you're going to get in 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 10 all game long, the Ravens have done enough with their secondary to where they should be better. It's going to be a tough way to live. So, you talk about like what the Bills want to do offensively. I think the key to this is that the offensive line has to continue to play at the high level they've been at. They were fantastic last week against a really good D-line of the Denver Broncos. If the Bills continue to get that level of play from the O-line, then like the strategy part of it almost becomes irrelevant, because when you have an O-line that's always opening holes, always providing time for the quarterback, I mean, Joe Brady could have his eyes closed and just point at stuff, and it would probably work. So that, to me, is the most important part of this game for the Buffalo offense.
I don't quite know how to phrase this question, because I realize there's pressure on everybody this time of year. But given that the Bills have lost in this game 3 times in a row, they lost twice to the Chiefs, they lost to the Bengals, is there any added pressure, or is there talk among Bills fans, and are you dealing with some of the stuff we're dealing with here with SU basketball fans? Like, is there talk among Bills fans about, if they don't win this one, it's going to feel like here we go again? Like, is there any added pressure, or is that not on the minds of anybody right now?
So I don't know how many of your listeners know who Del Reed is, but Del Reed is pretty much the guy who started Bills Mafia in terms of the phrase and the trend. And then he's also someone, he runs a company called 26 Shirts, hugely philanthropic. I mean, just a great dude, has done a lot for advancing, Bills fan causes and charity work and all kinds of other stuff. But at the end of the day, he's probably Bills fan number one. There's arguments there, whatever. He tweeted a couple days ago, "I have not obsessed over a game since the Bills were in the Super Bowl." And that, I think, is the answer to your question. Absolutely, there's pressure from the fan point of view, wanting the Bills to get past this hump. And I think another part of it, too, is, the Bills' playoff successes when it comes to teams they have beaten in the playoffs in the McDermott-Allen era are over the likes of Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, Phillip Rivers, Bo Nix. These are not legends of the game, especially in a conference where you're loaded with great quarterbacks. So being able to not only get past this round, but to do it against a guy who's probably going to be the 2-time MVP, or at least very well could be in a few weeks, I think there's pressure on that for sure. Now, the guys themselves, they've been pretty loose, and they always kind of, keep it mellow, don't get too high, too low. Sean McDermott's done a really good job over the years of generating that. And even, McDermott himself has been looser for a while now, not just this week, than we've seen him in many years. So I don't think the Bills are going to go into this game tight. I think they feel pretty good about themselves. But the fan base, yeah, there's some diamonds being created right this second.
And along those lines, I mean, Ryan Day lost to Michigan and fans wanted him fired, and now he's in the national title game. And, you look at the body of work of Sean McDermott, but inevitably, right, if he loses this game, there are going to be some fans, and maybe a vocal minority might say, can they really win with this guy? Do you think that the management is listening to that at all? Is Sean McDermott's job in any way, shape, or form even being discussed, or is he safe for a while here?
Not by the people who matter, no.
Yeah, right.
No, and look, I'm already seeing that. Like even when Sean McDermott makes one wrong decision out of 10 in a game the Bills win by 20, I'll still see people like, he has no idea what he's doing. We'll never win with him. And then, look, that might still be true. And if he loses, you're 100% right. There will be, I don't know how minority it'll be, but it'll be very vocal on Monday about whether or not the Bills can get the job done with Sean McDermott. But when you consider that last November, the article comes out from Tyler Dunn, just lambasting McDermott, all the things that were wrong, things people didn't like. The Bills were 6-6 at the time. There was a groundswell of the fan base who wanted him gone right then and there. And since then, all he's done is win 20 of 24 games that matter. Not including the New England game. So he has a right to feel good about himself. I think he's done a heck of a job about turning things around, if that's even the phrase, from that moment. And the idea of firing that guy because they lose to the MVP of the league and the best offense in the league, potentially by like 3 or 2 or 1 points, that's just lunacy, even if you take out all the past playoff issues the Bills have had.
All right, you're always right on top of this when we ask you for a prediction. You're very good about laying out kind of the script and how things go. How do you see this script, playing itself out on Sunday night?
So the Bills' run defense has been better. I don't think they get trucked. The offensive line has played great. And Josh Allen's playoff record is such that I feel pretty confident saying Josh Allen's going to play at a high level. He doesn't always win these games, but he plays a really good game way more often than not. On the flip side, you got Lamar Jackson, who's had a superb year, who's improved in a number of passing metrics that he used to not be very good in. But he hasn't had that big game in this spot. He even talked last week before the Steelers game about controlling the emotions, not getting too excited about it. And this is the quarterback that's going to be on the road. This is the quarterback that's going to be playing in cold that he's probably not totally used to. And like we talked about earlier, this is the quarterback that might be missing one of his top weapons. Maybe not the most important part of their offense, but certainly a nice chunk of it. So it's hard for me to walk into that and say, you know what, I think the Baltimore side is going to be better because of all those things that are going on. So without the confidence that I'm going to get a high-level game, I'll put it this way. If the Ravens don't get a high-level league game out of Lamar Jackson, I don't think they can even come close to winning. I think the Bills would win, and it wouldn't even be that close. And that'll be my prediction. I'm going to go Buffalo 31-21 because I just don't think the Ravens are going to be able to do enough to keep Lamar and this offense comfortable all game long, whether it is the Bills' run defense slowing things down or even just the Bills scoring so many points that at some point Baltimore has to play catch-up.
All right, Thad. I like it. I like it a lot. Good stuff as always.
You've been drinking today, Thad?
Hold on. I'll answer that in a second. Just one caveat with that, Steve.
Yeah.
I thought the exact same thing before week 4.
That's fair. That's fair.
That answers my question.
That's usually pretty right on though when it comes to these things. You're allowed one misstep here and there. So let's hope you got that one out of the way going into week 4. All right.
What was your question, big guy?
Paulie said
have you been
he wanted to know
drinking?
if you had been. Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just curious if you had been drinking or not today after that prediction.
Not yet. That's a Sunday evening thing after a long week's work.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. All right, have a good weekend, Thad. We look forward to chatting with you again next week.
See you guys. Thanks.
All right, Thad Brown, WROC in Rochester. And with that, we'll take our final timeout. We'll wrap things up next on ESPN Radio.
And if you don't like this song, I don't like you.
Yeah.
That's right. You agree with me on that one?
I just knew that's where you were going with that, but yes.
I thought you were going to say that you've got 2 words for me.
Juice, Know the Ledge, the clean version. This might be one of the greatest rap songs of all time.
One of my favorite artists of all time. Eric B. and Rakim are a top 5 for me.
I'm glad to hear that you and I have something in common.
Yes, we do.
As you eat your dinner right in front of me, your lunch.
I've got class, so
Yes, you do, Steve.
Trying to get lunch out of the way right now.
That is something I lack. Your artist of the day choices are as follows. Another soundtrack. That was me. I hit the microphone.
No.
Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Another soundtrack. Number 1 on this day. Kid and Play. Friend of the program. At least one of them was a Kid or Play. I don't know. But good guess.
I think it was Kid.
Bon Jovi. Neither Bon nor Jovi have been on the show. Drew Hill, which is a band. I didn't know that. I thought it was a person. One of their members born on this day. The Spice Girls, Baby Spice, born on that day. And Billy Ocean, born on that day. Let's see if I can guess who everybody's going to pick. Jordan, who are you voting for?
I forgot the first one.
Saturday Night Fever soundtrack.
I'm so conflicted. I feel like you trying to guess what I'm picking is also throwing an extra wrinkle into this.
Yeah, let's go. What do you got?
We got to get off on time today, Jordan.
Okay.
So, you know. So I will say this. Did you think I was going to struggle between Billy Ocean and Kid and Play?
I can't tell you.
I'm going to go with Drew Hill because I've never heard of him.
I was wrong on that pick.
Who'd you think I was taking?
Saturday Night Fever because it's all Bee Gees and disco.
So normally I would go Kid and Play. You are not going to be here, though. And I think it would be more fun if you were here because you would enjoy it with me. I'm going to go Billy Ocean.
Oh, yeah. No, can I redo my vote?
He knows me. You even do like the reverse psychology that I was going to play.
Vote?
Wow,
I'm
that's
not
impressive.
finding 7 Drew Hill songs. I've never even
So it's
heard
now,
of them.
I'm going to go Billy Ocean, too.
Yeah, well, okay.
That wraps it up.
Then I'll stay with Drew Hill. Yeah, I'd just honestly play Drew Holiday highlights.
Real quick, we got 20 seconds left. We never got to it. Does SU win tomorrow?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yeah, Tom Noy. SU does win.
I think SU wins tomorrow as well. We'll find out.
Take that, Tom Noy.
No show for us on Monday.
Yes,
Crunch
there'll be
game,
Crunch game.
and we'll be back on Tuesday.
I just can't. Syracuse, please win.
We got to go. Enjoy the weekend, everybody.
If you can go. If you, I'll shut your mic off, Steve. Go to work.
That was your Paulie. That's your mic.
If you're ever gonna win a game,
why mine?
I'm just letting you go. The show's over. If you're ever gonna win a game, for my sanity, please, for the love of God, win this game. I'm gonna pick against them. Actually, Notre Dame's gonna win. Because I feel like that'll help them. Thank you.
Why are you looking at us? Our mics are off.
Good night.